XRP demand exploding. That is my big takeaway and confirmation that I got at XRP Las Vegas 2025. I am just overwhelmed by the positive energy and love from the XRP family. Can't wait to share this update with you guys. I appreciate your support. Let's get right on into this, folks. We're talking about Wall Street coming in, new exchanges and other platforms coming in to service the XRP community. Got a couple updates that we're going to share with you guys from existing platforms that we've already worked with, like Uphold. Couple big announcements that they dropped at XRP Las Vegas. We also have the DGens. Yes, believe it or not, we did let the DGens come on in this year at XRP Las Vegas. And we're looking at other platforms that are going to explode XRP DeFi this year. And yes, I'm going to address where we're at in the market. I know it's coming back down. And did we warn about that happening? Absolutely. Wasn't going to stop us from celebrating in XRP Las Vegas the success of this community, holding on to one of the most valuable assets and new financial systems that we're seeing built out before us. We had David Schwartz, Brad Garlinghouse, and an incredible showing from Ripple, but it was so great to see everybody in the XRP family. I just ask, if we did get a great picture together, if we got a bad picture, don't post it. But if we got a good picture together, especially late night, when we got a little bit loose. I know some of you guys were up here, hey, let's get a picture. I'm like, uh-oh, I've had a few adult bevies, but we can do it since we're in Vegas. If we did get a picture together, post it on X, tag me in it. I can't wait to see it. It was so amazing to see all of the XRP family. Let's get right on into it, folks. Starting out with a special happy birthday to the XRP Ledger. That's right, folks. XRP Ledger now 13 years old. This is something that you can't replace. Right, you can't build out a track record for 13 years, and many other projects in the space trying to catch up. I think that there's a lot that they can learn from the XRP Ledger, right? Being focused on payments and liquidity first, and now we're expanding those features, and that's what I mean with the DeFi season on the way for XRP happening right now. Actually, now before we went to XRP Las Vegas, the last video that I recorded was of the Saudi prince and the new, was it Vivo Power, I think is the company, the first publicly traded company that was going to have an XRP treasury strategy, right? They're going to invest over 121 million, I think, in XRP as a treasury asset. Well, the next day, as we were flying down to XRP Las Vegas, we got the announcement that another company, China's AI company Weebus International, announces up to 300 million financing plan to establish an XRP strategic reserve supporting global payment solutions. So this is before we even got to XRP Las Vegas. We got Saudi princes taking public companies into an XRP treasury strategy, a company out of China, doubling it up. 120 from the Saudi prince company, 300 million from this China AI company, Weebus International. So that was the energy that we had coming into XRP Las Vegas. We were called crazy for treating XRP like a reserve currency. We were landing down in XRP Las Vegas saying, wow, now we're starting to see public companies come out and admit that, yeah, we might have to treat XRP like a reserve. Now, I want to give a special shout out to Digital Perspectives, Brad Kimes, for putting this whole thing together. Great friend that I now have in Brad. He has done such an incredible thing here by putting together the world's largest XRP conference. It just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. And it was an absolute honor to be on stage having some great conversations, right? So why did I title this video XRP Demand Exploding? Because what we saw this year was Wall Street arriving, all of these new builders coming in, right? I joke about the DGens, but there's actually some real builders coming in. The Easy A app guys, right? Dom and Phil. I got to meet Dom. Didn't get a chance to meet Phil, but Dom, oh man, he's jacked too. Dom, he's a big guy. And it's a pleasure to meet him. And I thanked him for what he's doing, onboarding hundreds of thousands of developers to our ecosystem. So like I said, Wall Street's coming in. I had the pleasure of speaking with the CEO of Tucrium, Sal Gaberte, and we talked about it. And the big takeaway there is that those ETFs are going live this year. Sal Gaberte brought the first XRP futures ETF last month in April, and he already has 120 million of inflows that came into that. And he explained on stage with me how this futures product does increase XRP demand, because a lot of these hedge funds and traders, they need to be able to hedge positions. That's what that futures contracts allows them to do. And so demand is coming from Wall Street. We have new players showing up like MoonPay. I got to be up on stage there interviewing the president of MoonPay, Keith Grossman. Here's a quick picture of that one. Let me pull it up for you guys. Right there, me and Keith. And we had a good time. He spent a good portion of our segment telling us the backstory of getting a bailout from Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse when they were trading the Trump meme coin on Inauguration Day weekend. And the Trump meme coin went crazy. Keith told us a pretty funny story about, asking Ripple, calling up Ripple, hey, I need, it's like 60 million bucks, like today. And Ripple, he went and had lunch with Brad. And anyways, it was a great story. But the point being, MoonPay, a platform that's been around for 6 years, over 30 million users, getting a chance to see why these new guys basically are coming into the XRP family, right? Keith Grossman with MoonPay explaining how they're going to be a big part of onboarding a lot of people to the XRP ecosystem. They've already integrated full DeFi trading for other blockchains like Solana, and they even have SolPay now where you can pay for your coffee with using Solana with SolPay. And basically explained how that's on the way. I tried to press him on a date, but he said, be patient, we'll give it to you. But he said, it's on the way. XRP Pay, basically being able to, tap and pay with that, but also full integration with the XRP Ledger DEX. And I don't think that people really understand how important this is, because this gets people not just exposure to XRP, but our DeFi ecosystem too. MoonPay's all about onboarding, not just for XRP, but for crypto in general. But it's so great and refreshing to see somebody like Keith coming in and say why they want to get exposure to the XRP ecosystem. Same thing with Sal Gaberte, right? You have a Wall Street ETF manager on stage with us explaining why he's so bullish on Ripple and XRP. And I can tell you, we had some great conversations behind in the green room. These guys are so bullish. They are so bullish. We have Wall Street showing up, explaining why they want to join our XRP family. You got MoonPay, Keith showed up, and many others. And this is the big takeaway for me from XRP Las Vegas, is that everyone wants a piece of the XRP Ledger ecosystem, right? Whether they're a degen that just wants to come in and trade memes, whether they're new platforms like MoonPay, whether it's Wall Street. Wall Street is here. Now, Matt Hogan from Bitwise, he was also on stage talking about the hundreds of billions of inflows that he's expecting into the crypto ETFs over the next couple years. And I don't think that everybody really is contextualizing how bullish this really is. We went from being ignored. Nobody talked about XRP. And all the headlines would be inflows into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all this other stuff. No, these guys are here. I joked, my opening joke with Sal is I mentioned how I've been saying the suits are going to be showing up and selling it with slideshow presentations, and how I had Sal right next to me in a nice suit. He didn't have a slideshow presentation, but we were going to talk about why they were, getting involved here with XRP and why they were so bullish on Ripple and XRP. He also elaborated again on, operating and working with Ripple, how they operate as investment bankers, right? Just right. There isn't any other crypto company that comes close. And when you got Wall Street guys confirming that for you, it's a big deal. Now, like I said, I also went and spent some time with the degens, the memesters, and that was at the Hard Rock with the Sigma party. And I tell you what, these guys are a hoot. They are a hoot. They're a lot of fun. We had so much fun, me and wifey at the Hard Rock, getting to meet all these people, meet all these degens that are hiding behind their anonymous profile pictures, right? Getting to meet these guys. Oh, you're the guy that runs that account, right? So I'm saying, guys, you got Wall Street, degens, DeFi, all happening now. This is XRP demand exploding. Now, I know you want to get to the price chart. We're almost there. A couple more things that I want to share. Uphold, a platform that's been in the XRP family, a huge part of allowing us to acquire more XRP during the lawsuit. Uphold always holds a special place in my heart. And I did get to have a quick chat, quick interview. I was doing a TikTok live on the conference floor, and I ran into Simon McLaughlin, CEO of Uphold. Got to see Simon, catch up with him briefly, and I'm going to see if I can capture that interview. But anyways, we had 3 big announcements from Uphold to XRP Las Vegas this year. This is going to be XRP yields being unlocked through XRP staking on Flare. Now, it's not, staking is actually not the proper technical term, but that doesn't matter. Basically, what's happening here is that Uphold is, basically committed to integrating Flare DeFi for XRP. And for those of you guys who don't know, you guys should check out Hugo Filion from Flare. He was just on Jake Claver's show, and they talked about this XRP DeFi that's going to be unlocked. They're just using the XRP Ledger escrow feature. So your XRP is going to stay, within the XRP Ledger, get escrowed up, and then it's going to be brought over to Flare, where you're going to be able to earn some yield. And so Uphold has committed to integrating with that. So for those of you guys that aren't degens and DeFi and playing around with it, you can just use Uphold and you'll be able to hit a button. And I've said this with Uphold and some of these other platforms too, but Uphold in particular, they're the ones that have made this so easy to go from XRP to gold, XRP to, they don't have stocks available yet, right? But the future of Uphold and what they're enabling and, making it easy. We want to make this easy and effortless. That's what this is about. So Uphold going to be integrating with Flare, XRP Flare DeFi. They are also going to be bringing back the Uphold card. That's right. Coming in August. I think Simon said August 5th to be exact. And then the other big announcement that they had was allowing you to direct deposit now your paychecks directly to the Uphold platform. So another great showing from Uphold. And like I said, guys, my biggest takeaway here from this conference, and there's still a lot more to share and break down, but I just wanted to come in and get you guys our first update now that I'm back home. And just to say that, yes, XRP demand is exploding. Is it being reflected on the price chart right now, this very second? No. And well, actually, there's a reason why we didn't go below $2, and that is because there is significant demand. As I've been saying, $2 is the new 50 cents. There's a massive buy wall at $2 and a bunch of new people coming in. Now, let's take a look here at the charts. And what I want to remind everybody is that I warned you guys that we were probably going to be coming down either during Vegas or shortly thereafter. And sure enough, during the conference, we started to come back down. We were prepared. I was trying to go short. So we don't need to cry about the price today. This was to be expected. Why? Because the market makers know how to take advantage of our emotions. The Bitcoin bros go get hyped up at the Bitcoin conference. The XRP cult members go to XRP Las Vegas and have a great time. And the market makers know how to play you, but they don't play us because we were ready for it. The only thing that I messed up on is I missed my entry on this Bitcoin short. Let's take a look at the charts, guys. Look at it. This is right here, this horizontal line right here. 112,910 is where I had my XRP short entry, right? So I was waiting for it to go right up to here and I was going to be short. I just missed it. We only went up to about 111, basically 112, right? Just shy of 112,000. So we were ready. We were going to play this one perfectly. I would be in really good profit right now if we were able to, but I missed it. I just barely missed it. And that's how this game's played. But the beautiful thing is that we were able to warn you guys. Yes, there's going to be another pullback. Bitcoin's going to come down. XRP is probably going to come down with it. Get your liquidity ready. And so, I know we want to see a pump. I know we do. We say, the conference, people think that the conference should lead to a pump. That's not how this works, right? The conference is about fundamentals, the shift that's underway. As Brad Garlinghouse reminded us, the headwinds have shifted to tailwinds, right? Are you going to see it reflected on the price chart today? No. Are you going to see it reflected on the price chart this year? 100%. And I kept on telling everybody at the conference, I said, guys, this year, 100%. 100%. Now, why? The case officially ends this year 100%. There's no chance that this goes on past this year. I mean, in the next 30 days, we're probably wrapping this up. Number two, the ETFs go live for XRP this year, 100%. Is it going to be July, August, September? The final deadlines are in October. It might take until October, but 100% XRP spot ETFs this year. It's game over because then the inflows get to come. You add that to all of the DeFi and everything else, 100% this year. 100%. No doubt. Now, let's take a look here at our XRP price chart. And real quick, on Bitcoin, it did come back down here to 103. We'll be watching to see. It looks like 100,000 will be a big support for Bitcoin. But if that breaks, we could go down back into the mid 90s, maybe even a little bit lower. But it's going to have to be a big catalyst to draw us down here. So we'll continue to watch it. over to XRP. Okay, over this past month, we did go up into my purple box. I know that I was talking about XRP approaching $3, and I had my purple box. Really, I actually topped it out at 286 because that's where I had my 618 and the 702 fibs. So I was thinking, you know, we get close to $3. I thought we were gonna get closer than we did, only up to 265. But we did see that run up come, and then we did warn that we were going to get that pullback. Big demand coming in for XRP above $2. Everybody front running that move. So we only went down to 208 briefly before we've been bought back up. And now here we are back up, basically back up to 220, and we'll be watching that closely. But folks, I know that we were focused on XRP right at the conference this weekend, but I got to say, one of the best things about this weekend was from hearing of everybody that made boatloads of money on Zebeki, as I've nicknamed it, right? ZBCN is the ticker, Zebek Network, and Zebeki has printed massive gains for our community. Everybody was coming up, you know, love your XRP content, love this. Thanks for the Zebek call. And I kept on asking everybody how much you make. And I tallied it up. And I'm telling you, I got verbal confirmation from people at the conference that our community, just the people that I talked to, made hundreds of thousands of dollars on Zebek. I had people telling me $5,000 profit, 10 grand profit, 20 grand profit, 150,000 profit from one guy. Yeah, that's right. Hundreds of thousands of profit in the room with me, shaking my hand, which tells me that our community made millions outside of that. That's right. That's what we do. And it felt so good. This has been my best call, my best public call ever. Was I did Zebek last month. I did the deep dive on it. I showed you the fundamentals. I showed you the red flags. Here's what we watch out for. But the red flags ain't going to stop this sucker from pumping. And we printed millions on this play for our community. And a lot of that profit's being rolled back into XRP. I'll take a look at it, folks, real quick on the ZBCN chart. Here's where I made my money, 427% profit, but I sold too soon. Look at this sucker all the way up to 0.007. Like I said in my deep dive, my targets were half a penny to a penny. I said, you guys, you got 500, 600, 700% profit. And yes, we did. Yes, we did. Even though it's come down here somewhat, right? Look at that swing. Look at that swing. Incredible. Absolutely incredible for our community. Massive play here on Zebek. Love to see it. More content on the way. I'm just getting back. Absolutely overwhelmed with the positive energy and love. Me and the wifey had a great time seeing everybody. It's always a pleasure in Vegas. A few nights in, and then you got to get out of there. After a few days, you're like, get me back out of here. Back to the fresh air in the Pacific Northwest. Back to seeing my babies here with me. But man, I tell you what, post a picture if we had one on X. I'd love to see it. It was so great to see everybody. Huge shout out to Brad Kimes, everybody else that helped put this thing together. It was an absolute honor and pleasure to interview Sal Gaberte from Tucrium, president of MoonPay, Keith Grossman, great guys, and a lot more to follow up on, and a lot taking place in the current events and the rest of the markets. So stay tuned for more updates. If you guys haven't already subscribed, hit that notification bell. You know me. All of my community resources are available at zachrector.com. And by the way, huge shout out to everybody that was wearing the XRP family merch. I love seeing it. We had hats, we had shirts. You guys were amazing. Had a great Discord meetup as well, too. God bless all of you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.